Important. Please know that none of the parties involved in this content are certified to provide any form of business, financial, or investment advice. Please make sure all of your actions are based on your own decisions and your decisions alone.
We can get like 100 subscribers per day without even trying. It was crazy. And like 10,000 views a day.
Hey guys, welcome back to Midley. Today we're going to be talking to Kevin, and he's going to teach us and give us all sorts of insight about how to build a successful crypto-related YouTube channel. He has his own YouTube channel that has 35,000 subscribers. Hey Kevin, how are you?
Hey Max, how's it going? It's great to be on your show.
So Kev, let's get into it. So you have a YouTube channel that you built up to 35,000 subs. There's a lot of people out there who want to build their own content platforms for crypto. You've done it. How long have you been creating content for? How old is your YouTube channel? Tell us about your background, all that stuff.
For sure. So my YouTube channel started in July of 2017. And that was when the crypto space was kind of still has not yet taken off as much. And I was interested, and I was talking to my buddies saying like, hey, no one is really focused on educating beginners. Out of all the big YouTubers in the space at the time, the most they had was like 25 to 50,000 max at that time. I was like always wanting to get into that, and with the mission of educating people, breaking down complex topics from the technical and the financial side. And so I just dove in. If you take a look at my first videos, it was super awkward. I had no idea what was going on in terms of production, and I didn't have the right equipment and so forth. But I've really evolved since then and have still been making content all through the bear market. And now it's recovery and reaccumulation phase now. So things are warm. Just been making content steady the whole time, and would love to share with your audience different strategies and different learning experiences that I had.
Okay, so you started in summer 2017. So that's been literally about 2 years now, and you've built it to 35,000 subs. That's extremely impressive. That's way higher than the average YouTuber. So, okay, tell me how you started. How did you get to 100 subscribers, and how fast did it take, and how did you do it?
So 100 subscribers, I gotta tell you, was a really exhilarating time when it hit that number. And at first I was putting out some random videos, posting it on my own personal YouTube page, getting my friends and family to watch it and getting them to subscribe. But that didn't get me to 100, of course. I was making content, just the most basic ones, like what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain, all that stuff. But then one day I made a video about a topic that I was personally curious about, like how to use market cap to judge a crypto coin, basically. And it was a topic that really resonated with a lot of people. What I did was that I shared it on social media, not my personal one, but ones that had communities of people interested in crypto. So those were my target audience. And not to mention, on top of that, I shared it in a group that wasn't for advanced people. It was more so for like amateur enthusiasts. And so that topic resonated a lot with them, and it went viral in a sense. So it got like 1,000 views faster than ever. And this was for a time when my channel was really small. And I also kept on refreshing my YouTube page and saw that the subscribers would go up by like the tens and the dozens. And that was really exhilarating. And it was that piece of semi-viral content that really got me hooked and got me chasing and wanting to build more content that really resonated people.
Okay, so you made some really juicy, high demand content. So that
exactly
really helped. And you just shared it on social media for beginning crypto groups. Okay, did it take you literally a few days to get to 100 subs?
Once I released that video, yes. But before then, it probably took me like a couple months after I started.
Okay, so it took you a few months to get 100 subs.
Yeah.
Okay, but what really accelerated the process is that one video, right?
That's what got me to 100 really fast, yes.
Okay. So you made a video is it the type of video that didn't have a lot of competition yet was in high demand? Do you think that's why it succeeded? Like a lot of people really wanted to know this info but didn't have access to it? That's what
exactly. It was super relevant. I think that's the most important. It was timely, which is always good to have timely topics because other YouTubers didn't really talk about as much. Nowadays, a lot of people talk about it, but back then, not a lot. And so when I posted it on social media, it got a lot of buzz on those other platforms. And then that generated into a lot of YouTube views, and then YouTube ranked my video higher because that satisfied their algorithm. And so it was like just a snowball rolling down the hill, getting more steam.
Would you recommend for people who are beginning in crypto, so if they really want to get their channels going, because there's a ton of competition, so if they really want to get their channels going, you recommend that they create content that's extremely relevant, juicy, and in demand, yet doesn't have a lot of competition? Like, what type of content should a person with 0 subscribers create? What criteria do you think they should fulfill?
Well, I think there's 2 things really. One is they got to be interested in it, of course, because like if you're not interested in your YouTube channel's content, why even bother doing all the hustling for it?
Okay.
And number 2 is that you should try to find your own niche in some way, something that you can really focus on. Instead of just saying that I'm going to do all things crypto, like trading, explainer topics, walkthroughs, reviews, instead of doing everything under the sun, choose something that you like and also that you can focus and kind of put a twist on and have your own niche for it, that people know you for. Like, let's say Joe Crypto's channel is about this, and they can straight up say it off the top of their head.
Number 1, find something you like. Find something, a niche that's unsaturated. That's number 2. And create really trendy, relevant content in that really, really specific niche. And then ideally share that really trendy, timely, relevant content in like respective social media communities.
Yeah, social media is a good place because it's really accessible and has a lot of people. But really anywhere where you think that you can find the people who would be most interested in your content.
Basically, you found something you like. You found a niche that's uncompetitive. So in 2017, that was Bitcoin for beginners, creating video content for people who are just getting into Bitcoin. Oh my God, summer 2017, it was crazy. I remember everyone was getting into Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Okay. And you created timely, trendy content in that specific niche. You didn't go outside that niche. And then you share that content in these social media communities. And because the content was genuinely good and focused, you got subscribers relatively fast. So now we hit 100 subscribers. How did we go? And it took you a few months to really figure all this stuff out to get to 100 subscribers. How did we get from 100 to 1,000, and how long did it take?
You know, I don't remember precisely, but I think it also took maybe just a month or 2.
So the same amount of time it went to 100 to take to 1,000.
Yeah.
Did you do anything different?
I think I just got better at the hang of YouTube in general, like more consistent, more focused, and I was always looking for improvement. Like, I didn't start off as an expert YouTuber, not even crypto YouTuber, but expert YouTuber. And so I would always do research about like how to improve my videos, metadata, how to do keyword research, how to write better titles, better descriptions, what social media channels was resonating the most. Just every part of the puzzle, like I would be constantly trying to improve.
What type of content did your subscribers at this point were drawn to the most? Because you make so many different types of content. Beginner videos still the main thing, or is there other types of content that were really driving your channel?
So I think 2 types of things have done the best for us in the history of my channel. One is evergreen content, and that could be like a really clear demo or walkthrough of an exchange or wallet or something that people use. Because back in the day, exchanges were a little bit complicated before they took the time to refresh their UI. And so we would be like, if you're trying to do this, click this button. This is what this option means. This is what this checkbox does, and actually show them a live trade going on. That wouldn't go viral as fast per se, but that would get us viewers like through the rest of time pretty much. One video got us 100,000 viewers. It was an exchange tutorial, and that took time, but it constantly trickles in. It gets as much people day 300 as it did day 1. So those are the evergreen content that has done as well. The other one is explaining really hard to understand topics in a really simple way. So like, for example, our video about Bakkt. Bakkt is like the New York Stock Exchange's parent company's Bitcoin investment and services arm. And everyone was talking about that on social media, but I myself and some of my community members were like, okay, we know the name rec of that, but what are they actually doing and what services and what are important dates that we can look out for? First of all, we did a lot of research, like reading 10 articles, watching 5 of their videos, reading Reddit posts, everything, just consumed everything about it. And then broke it down ourselves. Like, okay, how do we digest that down to like 10 minutes max? And we did that. That got like 2,000 views, like real fast, really fast. And we were lucky there because we did that at the perfect time. We did that just before the wave of people started to search for it on YouTube. And so by the time they started search for straight up just Bakkt, B-A-K-K-T, by the time they searched for that, we were number 1 on YouTube. And so we got like thousands upon thousands of organic searches that came to our number 1 ranked video just because we were able to do it so well. And because of doing it so well, people engaged with it a lot. They watched the whole thing. We had high watch time and that got us number 1. And so kind of a mix of evergreen and also well-timed content of explaining difficult topics.
What I'm getting so far, if you want to grow a YouTube channel as quick as yours, you should really focus on guides for trendy things in crypto. So for example, let's say you're trying to start a YouTube channel in the crypto space. Based on what you're saying, I think a really, really great, effective idea would be find a new popular tool that doesn't have too much content about and review or create a guide about it and upload it on YouTube like as fast as you can. And that will give you a ton of eyeballs. Is that right?
Over time, yes. But that also does depend on that tool, like getting more popular by itself.
Right. So the tool itself has to be popular for you to get eyeballs in the first place. So
exactly.
The jackpot would be find a tool that's gaining in popularity and you think that's going to be popular in the long term and create one of the first guides for it. And like that'll be a great way to get attention, would you say? That's what I'm getting from.
Yes, that works for something like our channel or similar channels as ours. But I have seen other YouTube channels in the crypto space specifically doing stuff like trading, like chart trading, and also some that are more like comedy and news. And those are completely different from our channel, but they have their own personality. They do really funny editing. They do stuff like cutscenes of like movie clips or TV clips that add comedy. I think those are amazing, but that's not what our specific channel does. And like, that's not where we're focused on. So we don't do that.
Okay, so you hit 1,000 subscribers and this took you like about 4 months to hit 1,000 subscribers, would you say? That's amazing. That's fantastic. Okay, let's say, you had like a little brother or whatever who wants to start his own crypto YouTube channel.
Okay.
And what would be your main mentorship? What would be the main metric that said person has to follow? Like, hey, you want to start a crypto YouTube channel, this is what you should do, this is what you should focus on. Is there like a specific metric that they should focus on growing weekly? Is there a type of content do you think that's out there that nobody's doing well that you think said person could take advantage of?
I'm not sure about the second question, but I do have an answer for you in terms of the metric that they should focus on. So there are some YouTube channel trackers per se, where they can track your views and subscribers over time. Like Social Blade, for example. I mean, there's other ones as well, but that's one of them that's popular. What I would do is to look at your views. So they give you your daily views and subscribers growth, and they give it to you like 30 rows over the last month. But they also give you an average number of like the past 28 days, what was the average number of views per day or subscribers per day. And you want that number to be better than similar channels as yours, like percentage wise. And the reason why I say that is because our like views and subscribers heavily depend on the industry too. And this is probably the same case for everything, like for gamers and whatever. This is true for every YouTube niche. But for ours, when things were popping, when coins were taking off, we can get like 100 subscribers per day without even trying. It was crazy. And like 10,000 views a day. During the depth of crypto winter, it was way lower, like 10 times lower, even though our content was way better, just because people were watching after 8 months of bear market. Now it's a little bit better. It's warmed up. It's not quite as high as it was before, but it's definitely noticeably better. And so my point is that if you look at just purely your growth, that isn't necessarily good, because you might be doing the right things, but the market interest is low right then. So in that case, it could be not as productive to write off potentially helpful strategies that you've taken. Instead, you should compare yourself to similar channels of your size and your niche. And if you're growing better than them in terms of percentage growth for what I said, the daily viewership per average daily subscribers, then you're good. You want to be better relative to other channels, is my point.
New person starting out, you want to gauge how well you're doing. So
Yes.
what you find your competitors or similar content creators, look at their growth with socialblade.com. So you look at their respective growth, and do you have more, similar, or less daily subscribers than them? And so if you have more than their daily subscriber count, that's a really good sign. And also, your other advice is that if there's a low point in the climate, in the market's climate, don't let your confidence lower, because that just might be the entire industry.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
don't compare yourself to the industry, or don't compare yourself to yourself. Look at other YouTubers. Wait, did their growth significantly slow down? That means everything's okay. It's just what the climate is like.
Exactly. One thing I was going to mention is what I meant by percentages is, let's say you do want to compare yourself. Like, let's say you have a channel of 1,000 people and you want to compare yourself with someone who has like 20,000. They're way bigger than you. So when you look at their stats, they're going to get more views, average views and average subscribers than you. That's like pretty normal. But if you can grow faster than them percentage wise, like you take your average subscribers or your average views and divide that by your total subscribers and total views, and do that same thing for the bigger one, sometimes you may find that you're growing faster than them. And so the logic stands to reason that you're doing better than them, even though they're bigger than you. And if things do take off, you can ride that percentage and catch up to them. And so that's the point over there.
If you go from 90 to 100 subscribers, and a big YouTube channel goes from 950 to 1,000 subscribers, so they went up 5%, but you went up 10%. So that's a good sign.
Exactly.
Okay, so now you have 1,000 subs. How did you get to 10,000 subs? Please be as specific as possible. So how did we go from the thousands to the 10,000s? How long did it take? What did you do specifically?
So that one, I actually have to admit, took some luck, because that was a time when the industry was at the hottest point. And so I'm not sure this is a directly translatable advice, but it only took me like a month or two as well to go from 1,000 to 10,000. And from there, because things are so hot, a lot of times it was more quantity over quality. And that just means putting out as many videos on different topics that were interesting as fast as possible. Like, we did a lot of live streams during that time, and our live streams were helpful because that got a lot of people onto our channel. We could talk with them, we could chat with them, we could ask them to subscribe. We did like hour-long live streams like every few days. That was really helpful during that time. We also made a lot of regular content as well during that time, just cranking out content. And so this is just general for YouTube, but they say it's always good to be consistent with content. And also YouTube's algorithm is happy and wants to incentivize people to put out more content, because content makes YouTube's like more ads, more view time, whatever. So they incentivize that. And so during the hottest time in the industry, the amount of content was king.
So number one, get those live streams going to build rapport with your fans so you grow easier. And number two, yeah, quality over quantity, but especially when times are good, focus on content volume. So you might want to be the type of person that focuses on perfection, but maybe being a perfectionist is not ideal as a YouTuber. Maybe sometimes you want to just focus on content volume to really help yourself grow. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and I want to build on top of that even more. Like, I think what you just said is absolutely right, but that should be the case just in general too. Like, not only me, but a lot of very successful YouTubers and other content creators say that like the biggest challenge and problem for a lot of people is just getting started and being perfectionist. They're like, oh, I'm not quite ready. I don't have a good idea. I don't have a good equipment, whatever the excuse. But they say, don't worry about that. Just get the content out and build from there. Like, you never know when someone's going to discover. And also the feedback is important too. So you may put out some content, get some great feedback, get some more ideas, and go from there.
Okay, Kev, so let's wrap things up. We're at like about 25 minutes. What is the most practical, tangible, pragmatic advice you can give to somebody starting out now?
Well, I think it's a combination of everything we just touched on. We touched on a lot of interesting stuff, but honestly, I would just say find something that you're really interested in and start testing. Like, put out a video. It doesn't have to be nice. You don't need the best production quality. Be yourself, put it out there, share it with people, get their feedback, and keep going. Just keep at it. But also keep learning too. Like, get people's advice. I would oftentimes post my things to other people and say, like, what can I do to improve? And a lot of people will give really great advice when you ask. So ask people for improvements, do your own research as well, and just constantly improving everything. Production value, the metadata for YouTube, how you pick content, how you present the content, test ideas, look at your analytics on YouTube, everything. Just keep learning, keep improving.
What is your most recommended book, if you have one, related to this topic? And number two, what is the most important tool YouTubers need to download right now?
Okay, let's start with number 2. So I use one, and with full disclosure, I have worked with them before. It's called Social Book, and it's a Chrome extension. So it's a free Chrome extension. It helps you manage your tags. It helps you with tag recommendations. It helps you manage, like, track competitors. Basically, a lot of the stuff it automates, and it's like TubeBuddy or vidIQ, basically, if you've heard of those. But any of those will do. Like, I don't want to just push one. Like, just looking at things that can help you with tag recommendations and other useful things too that you could do manually, but that takes a lot of time. As to your first question, so this isn't necessarily a book, but Gary Vaynerchuk has a lot of good content that's free on YouTube, and he talks a lot about like motivation stuff as well. But in some of his videos, maybe like a third of his videos, he talks about social media strategy, because that's how he became a multimillionaire. He was one of the first ones to use YouTube, and now he does a lot of podcast stuff. And so he's an expert in the social media space, and he's a big proponent of just diving in as well. I'm not going to ruin all of it for people, but I highly recommend going to consume some of his content about making YouTube channels, making content creation stuff.
So guys, download Social Book to help you improve the metrics and stats of your videos and keep track of competitors. And get to Gary V's content if you want to learn how to build a YouTube channel, according to Kevin here. Kev,
Exactly.
This has been amazing insight. I really hope we can help other YouTubers grow out there. I'm going to link everything you talked about in the description. I'm going to put a link to your content in the description so people can subscribe to you. Kevin, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Max.
Important. Please know that none of the parties involved in this content are certified to provide any form of business, financial, or investment advice. Please make sure all of your actions are based on your own decisions and your decisions alone.